Okay, so here we are, last stage, stage 5, breakdowns. This is what in some studios or in the production language we would say this is blocking advanced or blocking plus. Also, depending of who are you working with or the perspective of the artist, this could be considered also like a work in progress. It's still not a spline version, but it's something kind of like in the middle or more advanced than just a simple blocking. Never mind, what really matters here is not that there is no like big difference in all this. What really matters is that the animator, us, we know what are we doing, and there is some clarity on this. So basically in this stage, what we do is to finishing up our shot in a way that looks as close as possible as it would be like a final polish. Though, if we would be working in a, let's say in a, not like a 24 frames per second show, like for example Spider-Man, we could consider this kind of like a almost close to a final version. Anyways, what we've been doing till this stage is been adding like all the main poses. We added the golden poses, the key poses, the accents, the lip sync. Now what we have is a pretty strong and functional structure with all the main ideas and the main flow of all the, let's say, the shot working pretty good. Now what we need is to add all the breakdowns that are left in order to, make everything work like really good. Working maybe also in those tiny little last details, working in a more secondary timing, working in everything that we feel that is missing, right? Also, what we want to achieve in this version is the best sense of flow as possible, the best sense of unity, of an interesting way of the character to be alive. So as long as we have clarity on what we are doing in this stage, we're good. They can call it whatever they want. So as I was saying, more or less the mindset that we have for finishing up this stage is having kind of like a 2D kind of mindset where we are trying to finish up this shot in a way that, like, if we would leave this for the in-betweeners to finish up or to add the in-betweens in between those gaps that we are leaving. That way we should get like a pretty strong and a big sense of aliveness in our shot when we finish this. By taking these shots or by taking this stage so far in terms of definition, we're kind of getting close or approaching of what old 2D and like really high quality 2D or stop motion, good quality stop motion used to do, which is paying attention and understanding the animation as small and tiny little changes that can mean a lot really in the overall result of our animation. Good 2D animation or good stop motion, if we look at it closely, we can see how really they always get that good feeling of aliveness, how everything is very well integrated together. And not only that, there is that kind of the sense of the flow or organic movement, right? Organicity in their characters. They are always there. Usually when they get that is because they do like a work that is more, or the system or the workflow is more kind of like a straight ahead instead of pose to pose. Pose to pose, more or less, till this stage is what we've been doing now, till this stage. But here, I'd like you to think that we're putting the pose to pose aside and we're starting a new way of working that is more kind of more spontaneous, or it goes more direct, and it starts to observe more the fluidity. We start to pay more attention to that sense of flow, that sense of organicity. And that's because we are going to be working on straight ahead, same as sometimes the 2D animation, but mainly the stop motion. So that's why till now what we've been doing is creating this structure of all the main poses, having everything very clear, very well defined of where everything should be. So when we're starting this stage of breakdowns, let's say everything is in the right place for us to start to play. So this is a more playful kind of a stage where lots of things can happen, lots of techniques can happen. But the thing is to get everything that we've done from the previous stages and do some tiny little tricks, and of course to add all those breakdowns with all the different techniques and the 12 principles of animation and everything that we know, in order to get that final result with all this, with all the breakdowns and everything that we've been mentioned that we're going to be doing. To me personally, this is maybe the second more interesting part of the process. I always like more posing, because posing is where all the ideas are, and I really enjoy doing like a good posing. But in this one, it's very fun because it's like kind of like, now that we have all those sculptures that works in each frame, now is how we can make all of them work together in a way that the fluidity and the organicity of the animation works good. So it's very fun, but at the same time it's very complex. We start to add a lot of things. Now we're gonna see how some parts of the moving of the character may be moving, but some others don't, not necessarily, or they move in a different pace. So we're also doing that. We're starting also to add more secondary timing. Till this stage, we have added, or we've been working with the main timing that is mainly created by the dialogue that we have. But now it's when we allow ourselves to just all the tiny little ideas, all the details that we may have with the hair, with the fingers, with maybe with the body, with the shoulders or other parts of the body, to be on top of that main timing in order to create this secondary timing that still is working very harmoniously with the main timing. But we didn't mark it till now because otherwise it would be too messy. But now is the time. Now is the time. So that's very fun too. But things, as I was saying, can be very complex. So because many things happen in this stage, I apply many techniques. It also maybe not the more time consuming, but let's say it's the more organic, the more chaotic. I don't have like a precise way of doing the things. Here's where I really allow myself to just do whatever. As I say, and I mentioned many times before, I try to not attach what I have in previous versions. So if I have to change some timing, if I have to change some poses in order to make everything work, I do it. I let myself do it. And because I apply some tiny little techniques and things that I've learned in all these years, I think that it's a better idea if I just present to you what is the final result of this stage. So in all the classes that we have and everything that we have to talk about now, you can see more clearly or where is it coming from. We can see more referenced to this shot. So let's have a look.
So, how to do impressions. I think the first thing to know is that it doesn't just start automatically. You can't just leap in there and do De Niro or walk in. So let's say I wanted to do an impression of Colin Firth. How do I begin? Well, the first thing I do is take Colin inside of me and sort of ease him in. And then once he's in there, and you begin to you're not even using your vocal cords. You'll notice that. We're not even going to get to that yet. But what you do is you just think of things that Colin Firth would, well, how would he look around the room? I'll do it for you now. This is Colin. See what I mean?
So I'm very happy, actually. I'm quite satisfied with everything that I came up with. For at least for the amount of time that I have. That's something that I've been mentioning many times before. I have, in order to do this course and in order to do the shot, I apply also myself a very tight schedule and a very clear, let's say, and deadlines for what to do in each part of what you guys have been doing or watching in this course. So I simply have to keep going, right? So one of the things that I always mention is stay to your plan, stick to your plan, stick to your schedule, keep going. So that's what I'm doing. Some things I know that could be better, could be improved definitely, but that always happens. There is always something that could be better. You always could get something better. The thing is that keep going. This is a practice. This is something that takes time. You're gonna improve as you keep going in your career, keep doing shots. You're gonna see how your let's say how your skills get better, or some mistakes that maybe you'll be doing today, you're not gonna be doing it tomorrow. But the thing is to keep going. So I'll let it go. I'm letting it go. Showing it to you, and we're using this now. So pretty nice. Quite happy. So let's go to the next classes and talk about everything that has been happening here, which is a lot of things, and I really hope that you can get something that you find useful, and hopefully at the end you find a way to more or less reproduce or copy, because I can see that here in this stage things are getting like a more messy, difficult to copy. But here's where it really gets very important to study the shot frame by frame, this looking at it and trying to do your best to copy, because with those tiny little details and observing how the different parts of the body is how you really learn deep aspects of animation, and understanding how the animation, or how you can get a good sense of appeal, or a good sense of dynamism and timing and aliveness and flow and all the tips and techniques that we've been doing. So I'm gonna do my best in order to explain you what are the main things that I've been doing in which part, and how you can also apply that in this shot, and in the shot that you may be doing apart from this shot. And yeah, that's it. So let's go.